state church, you ended up with unfreeing a kind of consensus among people who made the American Revolution. So we end up with the idea that while people will be free to have religion, the government won't take a position, won't favor one, won't disfavor one, won't make you pay to support one or attend the services offered by another one. And of course, this is a principle that's been threatened repeatedly through American history, and including at the moment. But the short of it would have been, well, in the late 18 teens and then the 1830s, the last state were abolished.
We're going to pause for a note that the Liberty Chat host, Ian Chaffee, has allowed us to make and asked us to make. Kevin and I have just launched a big project that we've worked on for some time, where we basically came to the conclusion that since it's hopeless to try to reform the universities, let's just hire sensible people in all the universities. I mean, you have a better chance of converting a Romney delegate, in fact, than getting that to happen. So we decided, well, we'll just go over their heads completely. And so we started this new site. Bang, I just typed it in. Liberty Classroom, where we just teach American history. We just, to heck with these professors, we teach the real thing. And all the stuff is downloadable. You don't have to sit there and watch it. You can listen to it or watch it according to your preference anytime you want. And we have the whole history of Western civilization on there. In a couple of weeks, we got the whole systematic introduction to Austrian economics, along with recommended readings for everything, so you don't have to worry about what's propaganda, what's a waste of my time, what's going to teach me something. We have live sessions like this one once in a while. You can ask us questions anytime you want, discussion forums, and it basically all comes out to about the equivalent of one movie ticket a month. We are giving the stuff away practically. It is an unbelievable deal, and you get to see and talk to Kevin Gutzman and me semi-constantly, and the material is absolutely top-notch, and all the cool people are over there. So as a personal favor, if you have ever benefited from anything ever that I have ever said or written, or that Kevin over here has ever said or written, then as a personal favor, I am asking you to go to libertyclassroom.com after all these chats are done tonight and check that out. All right, let's go back to the questions here. Again, given that we can't get to all of them, I want to get to the most stunning ones here. Let's see. Oh, that one's too hard. I'd have to think that one over. Let's see. Let's see. What do you think are? What are some good books on the Civil War and/or Abraham Lincoln? Kevin, you start, and then I'll jump in. I know because you teach Civil War at Western Connecticut State, don't you?
That's true. Yes. Oh boy, where to start? Well, of course, this is a gigantic topic, and there are a lot of. I think the first place you want to go is a book by Michael Holt called The Political Crisis of the 1850s, which explains how there came to be secession and why there came to be a war in an unconventional way. People have usually said that the fact that the slavery issue ultimately caused there to be a war without explaining anything such as why it happened when it did, why there was secession, why the Republicans responded with a war, and so on. So Holt, on the other hand, gives answers to all these questions, and it's by approaching the question from the point of view of structure of the American political system. Actually ties to something I was saying in one of the typed comments earlier about James Buchanan's public choice theory. The theory is that as long as you have a similar system, similar out over time, regardless who holds the offices. And Holt starts with the idea that political actors are seeking political self-advancement, and they do this by inventing issues. In fact, he shows at several points in the early 19th century that the contending leaders of the major political parties literally contacted each other and said, we need to have new issues. We need to fight over something, and then invent about. And the short of it is that his answer ultimately is, once there came to be only one, people in the South ultimately concluded, well, the only way then that we can defend our rights is by secession. On the other hand, the people in the Northern Party decided that they were going to latch on to this extreme measure of electing a sectional president. And anyway, that's the first and I think outstanding place to start. Beyond that, if you want to look at the war, you have to choose some sub-question. General surveys of the war, there are many of them take a forthrightly neo-abolitionist or Lincolnian approach. There are some pro-Confederate ones. I don't think there are actually any that please me altogether, but probably the standard kind of establishment survey is the one by James McPherson, which is called Battle Cry of Freedom. And this is an entirely pro-Union, pro-Lincoln, as I say, neo-abolitionist approach. And you can find a heavily critical evaluation of that in Tom DiLorenzo's work on Lincoln. There are individual books on individual leaders, on religion in the war. For example, Charles Rabel, who's an outstanding historian at the University of Alabama, wrote a really good book called The Confederate Republic, and recently has published another book about the religious aspect of the. And then there are books on essentially every subtopic you can imagine. One book that I really like a lot is called Mothers of Invention. It's by Drew Faust, who's now the president of Harvard. I'm not recommending her politics, but her book on Southern women in the Civil War is absolutely outstanding. Beyond that, please be more specific.
Okay, I'm going to enter, this is